Welcome to WoW Recapped. Today we'll show you a 2004 film titled Spider-Man 2. After defeating the Green Goblin, Peter Parker's life finally seems to be going well. But things get even more complex and disturbing when he needs to learn to balance his life as Peter Parker with his work and his college and the life of Spider-Man fighting crime. He's on the verge of a mental breakdown. But then a new villain, known as Doc Ock, comes and begins to endanger the lives of people living in New York. But now things get more challenging when Peter's powers begin to fade away without him knowing the reason. Now he needs to reach a decision on whether he wants to continue as Peter Parker or Spider-Man. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. After 2 years of becoming Spider-Man, Peter Parker finds his double life very difficult. He struggles to balance his duties as Spider-Man with the demands of his personal life. He often finds his personal life taking a back seat. Peter is estranged from his love, Mary Jane, who, to Peter's disappointment, is in a relationship with his best friend, Harry Osborn, who falsely accuses Spider-Man of murdering his father. He discovers that Aunt May is threatened with foreclosure and loses a job where he delivers pizzas in Manhattan. He's facing financial difficulties and struggles to maintain his studies at Columbia University. He often suffers temporarily and finds the recurring loss of his powers in life-threatening situations. Harry is now the head of Oscorp's Genetic and Scientific Research Division and is invested in the fusion power project of a brilliant scientist named Dr. Otto O. Octavius, who befriends and mentors Peter. Octavius has developed a set of artificially intelligent mechanical robot octopus tentacle-like arms to perform a sustained atomic fusion experiment using an extremely sun-hot radioactive machine. The powerful robotic tentacle arms are impervious to heat and magnetism and are telepathically controlled by Octavius around his waist. During a public demonstration that Peter and Harry attend, a power spike causes the fusion reactor to destabilize. Octavius refuses to shut down the reactor, which results with devastating results, like his wife being killed and the neural inhibitor chip preventing the advanced AI of the arms from influencing. Octavius's own mind is destroyed, and the arms become permanently fused to his spine and damaged brain. Spider-Man, Peter shuts the experiment down. Unconscious, Octavius is taken to the hospital to have tentacle claws removed, but now they have their own mind and can develop the ability to move. Doctors prepare to surgically remove them, but without the inhibitor chip they can't. So they defend themselves by killing the doctors, and Octavius takes refuge at a harbor. Uncontrolled, the tentacles begin to corrupt and take control and possession of Octavius's mind, playing on his vanity and ego, and he decides he must complete his experiment at any cost. In order to complete his experiment, Doc Ock tries to rob a bank where Peter and Aunt May were present. Peter wears his costume and fights Doc Ock. He faces a glitch because he doesn't know that he's suffering from a mutation disease. But he manages to recover and take Doc Ock outside the bank, where Doc Ock takes Aunt May as a hostage. But Spider-Man rescues her, and Doc Ock escapes safely with the money he stole. When Spider-Man rescues her, Aunt May revises her former opinion of him and realizes that he's a hero. At a party while taking photos, Peter learns that Mary Jane is planning to marry Jonah's son, Jonathan Jameson, who's an astronaut. Peter's also sad to see drunk Harry because Oscorp is left bankrupt because of Doc Ock's failed experiment. Harry even fights Peter, who always tries to defend Spider-Man. Peter suffers an emotional breakdown over his inability to balance his superpowers and his personal life. After that, Peter again faces a glitch because of mutation disease and loses his powers, like he can't spin webs, his senses are diminished, and his ability to stick to smooth surfaces is also gone. Peter's really worried about his powers being unreliable, so he visits a doctor who tells him that his physical changes are getting worse because of his mental health. Peter starts thinking about it and questions himself if he could ever be able to live a normal life, so he quits being Spider-Man. Peter disposes of his costume in the garbage. Garbage Man brings Spider-Man's discarded costume to sell at the Daily Bugle. Jameson takes credit for Spider-Man's disappearance, but later admits that he was indeed a hero and the only person capable of stopping Doc Ock. After visiting Uncle Ben's grave, Peter tries to reconcile with Mary Jane. He also finally confesses to Aunt May the truth about Uncle Ben's death. He, out of guilt, tells Aunt May that it was his fault for Ben's death. After Peter tells his aunt everything from the thief to Ben's death, she forgives him and tells Peter of the hope that Spider-Man brings to others. The rise in the city's crime rate worries Peter. Meanwhile, Doc Ock has completed rebuilding his reactor. Peter attempts to reconcile with Mary Jane but is heartbroken when she informs him it's too late. Doc Ock needs one final item for his project, and it's the isotope tritium, which is a rare metal used to fuel the reactor. Doc Ock decides to go to Harry Osborn for it, but he refuses. Doc dangles him over the edge of the Osborn mansion balcony. Harry agrees to give Doc Ock what he needs in exchange for capturing Spider-Man, as he still believes that Spider-Man is responsible for his father's death. He tells Doc Ock to find Peter as he believes that he's Spider-Man's friend, but tells him not to harm Peter. Mary Jane meets Peter in a coffee shop to ask if they can still be together, but Peter tells him that they can't be. After being advised by Harry to locate Peter, Doc Ock reaches the coffee shop, destroys it, and captures Mary Jane. Seeing her in danger, Peter gains his power and goes after him. So he dons his costume again after stealing it back from the Bugle. A furious Jameson continues to denounce Spider-Man as a menace, and he engages Doc Ock in a battle at the top of the tower. During the fight, the brakes of a train fail, and Doc Ock leaves Peter to save the derailing train, which he manages before it can plunge over the end of the track and crashes from a great height into the lake. Peter falls due to the physical strength that he has to use. When he's about to fall, people on the train catch him and see him without his mask on, but all of them promise each other that they won't reveal his identity. Doc Ock tries to capture the weakened Peter, but people on the train try to save him. These people are nothing in front of the mechanical arms, so he throws all of them out of his way and captures the weak and dizzy Spider-Man. He delivers Spider-Man to Harry. After giving Doc Ock the tritium, Harry pulls out the knife and prepares to kill Spider-Man, but he first relents and unmasks him. Harry is shocked to know that his best friend is his worst enemy. Peter gains consciousness and asks Harry to tell him where Doc Ock is, as Mary Jane is in danger. He tells Peter about his project, and Peter finds him in an abandoned warehouse on a waterfront pier where he starts his fusion experiment again. They battle again as the nuclear reactor threatens the city. Spider-Man manages to stun him with an electric shock and reveals his true identity to Doc Ock. Electric shock helps Doc Ock to return to his true senses. Peter begs him to stop the experiment, as it can be dangerous for everyone. Doc Ock decides to end his experiment before it can cause harm to anyone. So he collapses the floor of the building and sacrifices himself to successfully drown the device. Meanwhile, Mary Jane sees the true identity of Peter. Peter explains to her that this is the reason why they can't be together, as he'll always have enemies and it will be dangerous for her. Harry sees the vision of his dead father in a mirror, who demands his son to kill Peter. Harry breaks the mirror and refuses to hurt Peter. Shattering the mirror reveals a secret room that contains the Green Goblin's suit, combat gear, and serum that will give him some strange superhuman powers. On her wedding day, Mary Jane runs away and finds Peter Parker in his apartment. She tells him that she will always be there for her, despite all the risks. Peter lets her in, and she persuades him to continue his life as Spider-Man. And here, the movie ends. And here, our video ends. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay up to date with such interesting movie recap videos.